and is thinking. So I am about to share to you the second English grammar lesson that I would like you to be enlightened about. So first, I would like you to close your eyes and imagine yourselves being someone from a far-flung area that has no connectivity to social media, TV networks, and radio stations. Okay? But this day, you are in your aunt's house and you are having your vacation and you are enjoying yourselves watching television programs. Then all of a sudden, there's a flash report. Then, what did you hear from the flash report? It says there will be a super typhoon that will be landing on the island where you came from. And of course, you will get shocked by it at first. Then all of a sudden, you realize the need for you to be home and inform your relatives, particularly your family members, about the sad news. So, okay. So, what grammar lesson you would be applying so that you will be telling them exactly what you heard from the news? You got it correct. It's the direct and indirect speech. The direct speech, no? And of course, changing it to indirect or reported speech. So, what's the best grammar lesson to apply? It's the direct speech, wherein you will be using the exact words of the reporter on telling your relatives about the said super typhoon. Okay, so what is direct speech? Direct speech talks about the exact words of the speaker inside the open and closing quotation marks. A direct speech has two parts. We have the introductory part and the quoted part, and they are separated by a comma. Correct. So the first letter in the introductory part begins with a capital letter, as well as the first letter inside the open and close quotation marks. Also, the period is inside the closing quotation mark. And it is possible that the introductory part may appear at the beginning, middle, or end. If it appears in at the beginning, of course, it will be following the typical structure. But if you have it in the middle of the sentence, then of course, the first letter of the quoted part will be set in capital letter. And of course, the first word of the introductory part will be in lowercase. Then, the continuation of the quoted part will also be in the lowercase. Now, the same thing happens whenever you have the introductory part at the end part of the sentence. Of course, you have there the quoted part beginning with a capital letter. Then, instead of a period, you will have there a comma inside the closing quotation mark, then you will have there the introductory part that begins with a small letter. So you have there the direct speech. Now, how about the indirect speech? How about the indirect speech? If your direct speech goes like this, mother says, mothers know best. Mother says, mother knows best. So you have there the introductory part, mother says, comma, then mothers know best, open quotation mark, then capital letter M, na, for it is the first word in the quoted part, then period after best, then closing quotation mark. Now, how are you going to transform it under indirect speech? Of course, it will become mother says that mother know best. Period. So, as simple as that. So, indirect speech says that the statement the statement in the direct speech becomes or changes to that clause. If a statement na if a declarative sentence is present in the quoted part. So indirect speech doesn't use the quotation marks. No more introductory and quoted part. Because the introductory part and quoted part are being merged as one. Are being merged, then it will just be a statement wherein the quoted part is being changed to a that clause that functions as direct object already in the statement under indirect speech. No more comma, no more comma separating the two parts, but instead having the relative pronoun that. Okay. Now, second tip. How are you going to make it easy for you to decide whether you will be changing the direct speech to a that clause, if clause, whether clause, or infinitive to? So, how are you going to do it? Of course, simple. Always take notice on what kind of sentence do we have in the quoted part. Na going back to mother says, mothers know best. Of course, mother knows best is what? A declarative sentence, a statement. So changing it to reported speech or indirect speech, change the quoted part into that clause. So mother says that mothers know best. Okay. Now, what if you have an imperative? Mother ordered, please stop quarreling. Mother ordered, comma, then open quotation mark, please stop quarreling. Period, then closing quotation mark. So what do we have in the quoted part? It is an imperative sentence. So how are you going to change an imperative sentence to indirect speech? Simple. All you have to do is to change it to what? To infinitive to. You remove, omit the words like please, kindly, etc. and make use of infinitive to. So the sentence will become mother ordered to stop quarreling. Okay? Mother ordered to stop quarreling. Okay. So imperative sentence. Now, third, what if a you have a yes no question? Yeah, yes no question in the quoted part. Example, mother ask. Mother ask, will you prepare will you prepare eating or sleeping? Will you prefer eating or sleeping? Or, yes, no question. Will you go with me? Mother asked, will you go with me? So you have there, will you go with me? Okay? Now, change it to reported speech. Mother asked if, if, if you would, if I would go with her. Mother asked if I would go with her. Okay? So, change it to if clause or whether clause. Now, what if you have an information question inside the quoted part? Okay. Example sentence. Mother questioned, who ate the cookies? Mother questioned, who ate the cookies? So how are you going to change it to reported speech? Of course, consider first the quoted part. What do we have in the quoted part? Okay. So it is what? Who ate the cookies? Who ate the cookies? So it's an information question. So, changing it under reported speech, it will become mother asked who 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 had eaten the cookies. Mother asked who had eaten the cookies. Okay? So, reported speech. So, changing direct to reported speech or indirect speech, you have to take notice what kind of sentence do you have inside the quoted part. If it's what? A statement, change it to that clause. If it is an imperative sentence, change it to if clause or no, if it's an imperative sentence, change it to infinitive to and omit the words kindly, please, etc. If it's a yes no question, change it to if clause, if clause and whether clause. And if it is an information question, change it to what? Change it to the same question. Yes, there's no connecting word to be used. No, just copy the question word and see to it that the subject appears first before the verb. Okay? So another example for it so that it will be clear. The statement dealing with information question. Mother, mother asked, where did you place the money? Mother asked, where did you place the money? Okay. So changing it to reported speech, mother asked, where I had placed the money. Okay. So that's the second tip. The third tip, now on changing direct to reported speech, of course, be particular with the tenses of the verbs in the introductory part and quoted part. Okay. First, if the verb in the introductory part is in the present tense and the verb in the quoted part is in the present tense, no change. Okay? Mother says, mothers know best. So mother says that mothers know best. Second, if the verb in the introductory part is in the past tense and the verb in the quoted part is in the present tense, change it to past tense. Mother said, mother mother said, mother said, uh, the children the children are industrious. Mother said that the children were industrious. Change it to past tense. Okay? Next, if the introductory part has a past tense of the verb, yeah, past tense of the verb, and also past tense of the verb in the quoted part, change it to past perfect. So, mother said, mother said, the boys, the boys made the mess in the room. Mother said that the boys had made the mess in the room. Okay. Now, if you have the past tense of the verb in the introductory part and past tense of the verb, past present perfect tense of the verb in the quoted part, change it to past perfect. Okay? So, example of it, mother announced, mother announced, they have made the right choice. Mother announced that they had made the right choice. So change it to past perfect tense. Now, uh, you have the present tense of the verb. Any tense? Is it any tense of the verb? Present tense of the verb. Mm-hmm. Past tense of the verb. I think past tense of the verb in the introductory part, then present tense, future tense of the verb in the quoted part. For example, mother announced, mother announced she will buy new clothes. Mother announced mother announced that she would buy new clothes. So just change will, shall, can to would, should, could. Okay. So lastly, any tense of the verb in the introductory part and present tense of the verb in the quoted part because it's a general truth, then no change. So example of it. Mother. Mother. Okay. So again, if we have there any tense of the verbs in the introductory part and present tense of the verb in the quoted part because it's a general truth, then there will be no change. Okay? Mother says. Mother says, the Lord is our shepherd. Mother says that the Lord is our shepherd. If I say mother declared, mother declared, the Lord is our shepherd. So changing it under reported speech, it will become mother, mother declared, or mother said that the Lord is our shepherd. So there will be no change. Okay? So going back to the tense, I think it's past tense of the verb. Past tense of the verb in the introductory part, then will, shall, can. Now future tense of the verb in the quoted part, then all you have to do is to change it to would, should, could. Okay. Now, let's have the third tip. So the first one, definition of direct and indirect speech. Second is knowing what kind of sentence or statement do we have in the quoted part so that you can determine whether you will be just changing it to that clause, if clause, whether clause, infinitive to, infinitive phrase, or retain the question word and make use first of the subject before the verb. Then the third one, the third one is what? The third one is knowing the tenses of the verbs in the introductory part and quoted part, and you will be directed how to change them in the reported speech or indirect speech focused on verb forms. So again, present tense, present tense, present tense, past tense, present tense, change to past tense, past tense, change to past perfect tense, past tense, present perfect tense, change to past perfect tense. Okay? Then past tense, then future tense, change to should, could, would. Then, of course, lastly, we have the any tense, then present tense because it's a general truth or universal truth, then no change. Okay? So the last thing is to be reminded of the pronoun antecedent relationship. So it's very simple. Of course, the thing there is make yourselves aware of the gender, number, and case of the pronoun. Okay? If I say mother, mother says, mother says, you attend your class. You attend your class. Mother says, mother says to attend my class. Because shoulder refers to me. So my is it. Na? Okay. So it's the same with what? The father. The father declared. The father declared, I I shall I shall provide for everything. So changing it to reported speech, the father declared that the father declared that he would provide for everything. So I have there the he, now replacing the pronoun I, referring to father. Why he? Because it is in the nominative case. The number, singular, and the gender is masculine. So, okay, those are the things that you need to consider whenever you deal with direct and reported or indirect, or reported speech. That would be all. Thank you.